Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Crypto, Coffee and LoFi. For today's episode, I'm going to run over my higher time frame bias on Bitcoin and Ethereum and work my way down all the way to the lower time frames and take a look at the position that I'm probably going to execute around London today. So the top here is obvious distribution. Okay. So everybody knows this. This is a top. We're currently in a bear market, regardless of what anyone's saying. When price distributes like this and we start breaking all of this structure, before we can say that we are in a bull market, we need to reaccumulate and break higher time frame structure. So this is what distribution looks like if we jump onto the 4-hour. So if you're new here, if you haven't watched one of these episodes, essentially I'm just using the same pattern to find distribution and accumulation in the market. So that pattern being essentially a head and shoulders. Okay, so we have a high, the low that was responsible for taking the high. We break below it right here. And then once we retest, we form the same pattern again. This is how I pick up on distribution and accumulation. So right here, we have the high, the low that swept the high. And then once we retest, we form the same pattern again. Right here. If you want to go on my Twitter, you can see that I've called this right here, the re-entry. So I don't think that we can continue the bull market until we take out all of these lows here. Now, I could be wrong. We have been consolidating for a while. We did take out this key low right here, and that may have been enough liquidity for the larger players to enter their positions, and it may be enough for us to continue up. But until we break structure, so until we break above this high and start to invalidate bearish setups, so until we see something like this and then revisit this leg and reaccumulate, so forming a bullish pattern, until we see something like this, I think the most likely scenario is to take out these lows. Once we do take out these lows, I'll be looking for something like this, accumulation below them, and then once we see the first pattern, I would like to see reaccumulation once we revisit. I think this would be the best scenario for continuing a bull run. However, if I'm wrong and we do start to head up now, I would like to see a retest and reaccumulation on that retest. But for now, I think we retest the bearish levels. So we jump onto the hourly, we can see that. So for the bearish trend to be over, we need to invalidate the bearish levels and then reaccumulate and start forming bullish levels. But for now, we haven't seen that, so I think we continue to range. For this session though, I'm going to be trading a retest of this, looking to long for a few days into this bearish level. Once we reach here, I will look for distribution. So something like this. Okay, if we can see a move up like that, that'd be perfect. However, we are going to be trading into resistance, so we're going to be trading into this high and trading into this high as well. So if we do break above here and distribute from there, then obviously I'll have to get out of my long bias and start to look for shorts. And keeping in mind also, we have a bearish broken base here as well. So if I am going long here, I want to make sure that we're not seeing any bearish broken bases here. And if we do start to see that, then I'll have to jump out of my long positions and start to look for shorts. But for this session, a retest of this level seems like the best play for a long, which stops just below 33.6. So that's Bitcoin. ETH. Similar picture for today's session anyway. Now, this is why I think there is a chance that we have formed a bottom because of how good Ethereum looks compared to Bitcoin and ETH BTC. So there is a chance that ETH is going to lead this next run, and it looks like it could. All right, so if we take a look at this, sweeping out a low, breaking above the high that was responsible for taking the low, Then once we revisit, we form the same pattern again here. Now, ideally what you want to see once we retest these levels, this is a double confirmation, so here's the first and here's the second. You want to see reaccumulation again, which is what we saw. So we swept out this major low and started to accumulate. So on the hourly, you can see sweeping out that low, breaking above the high that was responsible for taking the low, and retesting the candle that was responsible for actually sweeping the level, mitigating the orders, sweeping out these lows and breaking above. On the previous episode, I was looking for shorts right here, but I said if we came up above, started closing above and reaccumulating, then I'd be out of my shorts and looking for longs into these equal highs right here, which is exactly what we got. All right. And over here as well, you just take a look at the previous episode, looking for shorts again into here, but once we broke above and started reaccumulating, I was out of my short bias. Sweep below the lows, break above the high. Then we retest the levels here and start to reaccumulate. Note the perfect retest. So now the same. Here's the low. The exact same pattern. Right here. So if we can get a chance to enter, going long here would be the most ideal entry. And then looking at these two bearish levels, so we have a sweep of these highs here. So we're looking at this low right here and this low right here for targets. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think today we see some decent long entries. Yesterday, before we actually closed the daily candle, I was thinking that we would see some bearish price action, but while I was sleeping, we quickly retraced that entire bearish move and we started to reaccumulate. So rather than being stuck to a bias, you know, it's important to be able to kind of switch up your views based on what is happening in the market now, rather than what you want to happen. So I'll be looking for longs. There's some easy invalidations for the longs, so I pointed them out on Bitcoin, but for Ethereum, we do still have these bearish levels. So we are trading, we are buying into resistance. So it's important to note that if you do see distribution at the resistance and at the bearish levels, then you should reconsider your bias. Something like that, followed by further confirmations. So sweep, break below, sweep, break below. If we see something like that, then I'll look to get out of my long bias and start to look for shorts, and similar picture on Bitcoin. Looking at these two levels. Hopefully I can get a long here. If I can, trade into here, into this high, and into this bearish level here. No worries guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in the way I trade or the way that I'm analyzing the market, click the link in the description below, pick up a copy of the strategy. You get access to a Discord, get to see me actually trade all of these live. No worries, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.